Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. If you're here live or watching the replay, I am so grateful that you have cleared your schedule. You've dedicated some time to being here with me on this online class and investing in your spiritual growth. The name of the class today is The Essential Steps to Finding Your Life Purpose and Living It with Joy and Abundance. So I have been on a journey of discovering and living my life purpose since I was a teenager, when I was involved with spiritual groups in my community through the organization that we now call the Way Showers College. And through that development of my intuition and my inner guidance, I learned how to look within, to tap into the energy that is within each one of us, that guides us to what we're here to do. And I was lucky enough to have this in my life at an early age. I do think that that was for a reason, because it is my work and my purpose to share this with people. And obviously, being quite young when I got involved in it, I have a lot of experience under my belt, like 30 years now. And I'm only 43 years old, right? So, but wherever you are in your life, it's not too late, right? That was my journey. But there's other things in my life that I discovered much later. So there's no right or wrong path. Your path is unique. And I think this is one of the key things that I will be reiterating for all of you today, is that you have a unique purpose and path. You chose this before you were born. And the way to tap into it is to learn how to expand your spiritual abilities, your awareness, your sensing of energy. And these are things that in our society, we're told that it's weird, it's wrong, it's not logical, it's even kind of made fun of, right? Or even made fearful in some cases. And so it's no wonder that we lose touch with that beautiful, purposeful, energetic part of us. So my intention today is that you're going to start to reawaken that. You're going to tune in to the awareness and the answers that you have inside of you. And I'm going to share with you the steps, the components to your purpose that you have likely been missing. There are some key steps that most people skip because they don't even know that these steps exist. And so when you get this fuller picture, you can start filling in the gaps that you've been missing. All the pieces of the puzzle are going to come together rather than having missing pieces, right? If you're having missing pieces in your puzzle, imagine if you were doing a puzzle and a piece is missing. Like, that's so frustrating, right? So I'm going to fill in those missing pieces so you get this full picture of where you need to go from here. You're in the right place on this class today if you relate to at least one of these. You're seeking to find your purpose in life. You want to go beyond your current circumstances to live an extraordinary and joyful life. You want to get clear on your heart's desires. You want to know what your mission is for this lifetime. I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to have all the answers in this 1 hour class, but I do, maybe not guarantee, but I do have a strong intention that you will start to get some clarity, even just from the information that I'm going to share with you in this intro class today. Because the reality is, I told you I was going to reiterate this, it's right here. You have a unique life purpose. It's not just a life purpose, it is a unique life purpose. If you look in the dictionary, unique means one, right? And this means that you cannot compare yourself to anybody else. There's no such thing as competition, because no matter if you're doing the same service or the same job, you are doing it in such a unique way. And you have such unique circumstances from your upbringing, from where you are now in your life, the skills that you have, that it's like it's your path to discover. It's nobody else's. And there's a freedom in this. And sometimes it feels overwhelming because you have choices, right? Most of you, if not all of you, are not in survival mode in your life. You are comfortable in your living situation, and yet you want more. You want that beautiful, creative, flowing life that you feel is possible, but you just can't quite get there. So there's some tools that you can learn to get on this path of your unique life purpose and to know what that is so you can stick with it. So let me know if you relate to any of these. These are symptoms that your soul will communicate to you when you are getting off track with what you came to do this lifetime. So you may have feelings of an inner crying, feeling depressed for no reason, telling yourself that there must be more to life than this. Some other things that could happen is feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, and a lot of questioning, right? Like, well, it says there, is there more to life than this? Or, what else is there for me? And that can cause a person to feel very indecisive. So if you relate to one of these, let me know in the chat, which one do you really relate to? I see quite a few more people have joined us since I got started, so welcome. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat as well. So which one of those symptoms do you guys relate to? Let me know. So Lisa said an inner crying. Alexandria said all of them. Yeah. There's, feeling stuck. Absolutely. You guys are not alone. And that's some beautiful thing about being in a group webinar today, is that you can see that, hey, you're not the only one that has these feelings. Yeah, Paula said depression. Ron said feeling stuck. Gozia, all of them. Marianne, all of them. Yeah. So our soul communicates to us through energy and feelings, right? And so these are some things that will start happening when you need to course correct in some way. Yeah, Melody said wanting more and feeling stuck. Yeah. And when you get back into alignment with your purpose, you will have those feelings of flow, joy, growth, expansion, fulfillment. Fulfillment is often my number one that I kind of seek. Am I feeling fulfilled with this? And if I'm not, then I ask myself, what needs to shift? And it's not always bad or wrong to have these feelings. I don't think that we need to shove them away and get rid of them. We need to acknowledge them and use them as a source of like communication and awareness, right? So I had been feeling unsatisfied with my business, even unmotivated, about 3 or 4 months ago. And that is not like me. And it was really getting my attention. But rather than kind of beating myself up, I said, okay, what is going on here that I am, not wanting to show up to my business and just go take a permanent vacation? There's something must need to shift, because I know that this is my purpose and my passion. And I'm not going to go into the details of what I did change, but I changed some things and I got back into alignment right now. And every day now when I'm, at my desk and I'm working, I know where I'm going. I feel directed, I feel purposeful, and I feel fulfilled. And so that's the difference, right? This is something that is not valued in our society mostly, right? People can talk a good game, but when it comes down to it, we're kind of taught, okay, you got to pay your bills, you got to work hard. There's all these messages that we're bombarded with that kind of miss, that inner fulfillment piece. So what if you didn't have to choose between them, right? What if you could have both the inner fulfillment and material abundance? And for some reason, we're taught that we have to choose one or the other. And that's just not the case. So today you're going to learn the key steps to finding your unique purpose in life. Before we go there, this is the foundation of the spiritual work that I do. You are energy. There's 5 spiritual truths here. You are energy. You are here to learn and grow. You have a unique life purpose and spiritual thrust. You have inner guidance and you are free. Okay, so you are energy. You are a soul with a physical body, not a physical body with a soul. And the real you is that soul, that source, that energy. You are one with all things. And so when you live your life from this inner pivot point, you start to realize how sensitive you are, how psychic you are, how tuned in you are. And you can naturally communicate with guidance because you are energy and they are energy. It also means that you're very sensitive to picking things up in the environment. You're like this radar system of energy all the time. But energy is communicating with us. And that's one of the things I mentor people on, is starting to develop their intuition, their connection with their spirit guides and their natural abilities, so that you can reawaken the real you. It's not something new, it's reawakening what might have been suppressed. So you are here to learn and grow. Now, this is actually the purpose that we all have in common. Now, we do it in very different and unique ways, but the common denominator we all have is that you are here on planet Earth this lifetime to learn and grow. Every experience that you have is a learning opportunity. And there's a difference between learning and growing, right? Learning is good, right? Learning is the information, the awareness. But growing is when you really start to implement that into your life. And that takes a little longer than learning. And I love to learn. Like, I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always taking classes, online courses. I'm always listening to podcasts. Like, it's just how I live my life. However, I try to, not always successfully, but I try to really keep myself in check and go, am I just filling my head with information that I'm not doing anything with? Or am I really utilizing this? And I find that the areas I'm really growing in are much smaller. They're very simple things that I keep practicing. So for example, one of my big spiritual goals, and this has been for about 2 or 3 years now, is to not hold back. I had a big habit of holding back from what I really wanted to say. Childhood stuff, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, whatever. So I'm continually practicing and catching myself in situations where I held back from what I really wanted to say. And that's been, like I said, a good 2 or 3 years where I've been working on this goal. The growth is in experiencing that and practicing it and slowly mastering it. So you have a unique life purpose and spiritual thrust. So this is the theme of this whole webinar, so I'm not going to go into it too much now, but your spiritual thrust is your spiritual vibration. And this is the piece that most people miss. They want to jump to the material world. Again, that's the way we've been taught. We've been taught to look outside of ourselves, to the outer, for answers. What job should I be doing? What relationship should I have? What family life should I have? And all of those things are important. I'm not dismissing that. However, if you only have that material side and miss the spiritual, you're going to be kind of in that place of feeling like a square peg in a round hole. So becoming aware of your spiritual thrust is actually one of the key, most important pieces and one of the first steps in getting back into alignment with your unique purpose. So you have inner guidance, you have your own intuition, and it comes in 4 spiritual gifts of intuition, vision, prophecy, and feeling. And you have a connection with your guides, your helpers, your angels. And that's one of the things I'm also very passionate about sharing. When you can communicate directly with your personal team of guides, you can get guidance on if you are in the right place at the right time. And is this opportunity in alignment with my purpose? Is it a high priority for me? They have a bigger picture and they can guide you to the best decisions for yourself. and you are free. Yay. It often feels like we're not, right? If you have responsibilities, if you have kids, you need to feed them. We have to pay the bills, we have to pay our taxes. Like, there are certain things in society we really can't escape from, and rebelling against it doesn't help much. But you are still free within those structures, right? Finding a way to meet your responsibilities and still be free to choose the life that you would like to create. There's a balance there, but it can be found. Okay, so for those of you that may not know me very well, my name is Melissa Kitto. I live in Richmond, Virginia. I'm from New Zealand originally. I've lived in the US since 2003, so quite some time now. And I have an 8-year-old son, and I have dedicated my work, my career, to helping people with these spiritual tools because it has helped me so much. It's my purpose and passion, so very meta here. I'm a certified spiritual consultant with the Way Showers College. I discovered that organization at the age of 12, and I'm still involved with it. So, and I'm free to leave anytime. I am free. However, I have never found any spiritual system to be so accurate, so helpful, so simple, but so profound as the tools and techniques that I've learned through the Way Showers College. And definitely check out their website if you feel drawn to do that. There's some amazing people around the world who are also offering services, especially since COVID. A lot more is happening online as a result of all that stuff that we've been experiencing in the world. So there's opportunities there, etc. Yeah, so spiritual consultant with the Way Showers College. And I've also created 2 online courses, which is taking the materials and principles from the college and sort of putting my own spin on it and really giving you the best of the best. I've worked with thousands of clients now. I've traveled all across the globe, teaching in-person workshops and retreats. And I have been doing online classes for a good 10 or 12 years, really. So I have worked with so many people now what I know what the common challenges are, and I've been able to really pick and choose the best tools that are going to get you the results that you're looking for. And my website is communicatewithangels.com. Okay, so let's dive in to the 7 important steps to finding and living your purpose. And a hint is that your purpose is much more than your career. I've already been hinting at that, but we're taught to look at the outer and think that that's the be all and end all. It's a piece of the puzzle, no doubt, but there's likely some steps that you've been missing. So I want to share with you what these steps are today. Okay. Step 1 is to raise your vibration. Why is this an important step to finding your purpose? Because when you expand your energy and become more tuned in and raise your vibration spiritually, your energy is stronger, it's expanded, you'll have more awareness to the intuitive guidance that's available to you. When your energy is diminished, because you're just not really, you're more in your head maybe, you're operating life through logic, and none of this is right or wrong. A lot of people live that life that way and they're perfectly happy with it. I don't think that any of you want that, right? You want to expand beyond the norms of our world and really live to your full potential and just be happy, right? Probably you just want to be happy. And this is the first step to doing that. And most of us are taught from a young age to shut down our intuition. You're just making that up. It's just your imagination. That's not real. And even if you had a more religious upbringing, it could have been something fearful, right? That's of the devil, or, that's wrong, that's bad, don't get involved in that. And that can be hard to shake, those messages, when we're very little. But with experience and with practice, you can come back to really what's always been there is you are a psychic being. You're getting hunches and impressions all the time. You're getting messages from your team of guides. You're having aha moments. You can feel energy. And when you can get in touch with that feeling intuitive part of yourself, that's where the answers to your purpose really lie. So I'm going to share with you an experience right now where you can start to feel your energy and your vibration. So what I'd like you to do is just rub your hands together. And then bring your hands a couple of inches apart. Close your eyes for a moment and just start to notice what you can feel between your hands. So for me right now, it feels like a tingling sensation, a heat. So then keep bringing your hands apart. Can you still feel it? See how far you can go before you lose the feeling. And for me now, it's starting to feel like a magnet pulling my hands together. Again, there's no right or wrong. I'm just sharing what I'm experiencing. You might feel it a little different. Okay, and then bring it back in again. So it's funny, like I have the air conditioning on in my apartment right now. So as I brought my hands out, I could start to feel like, okay, that's just the air conditioning. It's not, my energy is not that cool. So then when I brought them back in, it's like, okay, wow, this is really warm now, right? Sometimes as you bring them back in close, you'll start to feel more because you're just becoming more aware of it. It's always really there. So let me know in the chat, what did you feel between your hands? Just notice Melody had said earlier, relate to the comparing self to others when we are unique. Yeah. So what did you guys feel between your hands? What did it feel like? Paula said energy, yeah. And what does energy feel like? Marianne said tingling and warmth, yeah. Warm and energetic, heat, yeah. Kids just got home from school. I can hear them all playing outside. Okay, well, hopefully you could feel that. Keep practicing it. If you have a friend close by, you can do it with a friend too. Put your hands just slightly above their hand and see what you can feel. Now, this is something that you can keep expanding. So in the Life Purpose Mastery course I'm going to be telling you about today, you can learn how to cleanse your energy. So that really raises your vibration very quickly. And it helps you just to have that pivot point throughout your day. You can also learn to cleanse your environment so that your environment is really positive for you. Ron said it's hard to say, but you felt something. Yeah. Okay, so without raising your vibration, you're going to be trying to figure out your purpose in your head, and that's not ideal. Okay, you're going to fall back into the logic, the things you've been taught that maybe have got you where you are now, which is feeling stuck, right? I know for me in my upbringing, there was all these unspoken expectations. It's really interesting to think about, but I was expected to go to university. I was expected to go get a job. I was expected to get married and have kids and all these things of sort of this traditional middle-class life. And there's not a lot of freedom and creativity in that. And I kind of cut that energy at about the age of 23 when I left New Zealand and went and lived in England on the complete other side of the globe. And that's when I kind of got myself on this course of, I don't have to live this traditional life, but I made that decision with the help of my guides, actually. You know, I don't know if I would have done it because it felt really risky, but also I was really guided by my angels to do that. So if I hadn't had that guidance, I don't know where I would be in my life right now. I'd probably be doing things very differently. Okay. So step 2 is to discover your spiritual thrust. So I shared a little bit about this already, that this is your unique kind of spiritual vibration put into words. It's your personality, it's your skills that are innate within you, and it's the energy that's expressed when you're really in your flow. When you're just loving life and losing track of time and just joyfully experiencing whatever you're involved in, you're living your thrust. Now we can do the opposite of our thrust from our bad habits or our limiting beliefs. So I was working with a client on this earlier today, and what we identified was that when she focuses on outer responsibilities and expectations, she limits her thrust. So for her, she has young children, and her brain, because of the way she was taught to do things by her parents, goes, oh, well, I've just got to do everything for the kids. And when she's in that mode, she's limiting her own spiritual thrust. Not that there's anything wrong with being with your kids, right? But when it becomes this obligation and when you're doing it to the detriment of yourself, then that's a different story. Just as an example. So when you are, like I said, really flowing and sharing and being of service to yourself and to others, you're living your thrust. So the same client I worked with this morning, we identified that when she is living her thrust with her kids, she's always being very creative with them, and she's helping them to not get stuck in their fears, and she's sharing with them different ways of looking at things and different perspectives. That's her thrust, not like feeling obligated to sacrifice herself. That's the opposite of her thrust. So you can actually take this somewhat intangible energy that you are and put it into a statement. And this is something that I am certified to do through a consultation through the Wayshoers College. And it's helpful to bring that sort of intangible energy into a statement that is more tangible. Now, this is not going to tell you what to do for career. It's not what we're talking about here. This is one of those missing pieces, the spiritual purpose, just that inner vibration that is you, your strengths, your innate abilities, right? What you're naturally good at, and not necessarily in a material sense, but just in your approach to things, you might say. So I'll give you an example. My son is 8 years old, and his thrust is 3 words: always achieve. And so it doesn't matter what he's involved in, he always wants to be learning and growing and achieving. He always wants to challenge himself. When he learns something, he wants to progress and go on to the next thing very quickly. So here where I live, we have a playground close by, and he learned how to, go on the monkey bars. And most kids his age couldn't do it. But he didn't feel satisfied with that, getting all the way across on the monkey bars. He decided the next step was going to be he was going to walk on top of the monkey bars, right? He plays soccer, and he always wants to be improving his skills. He's naturally motivated to do that. So his energy is always about achieving. So I want to, because I know that, I'm wanting to encourage him to really utilize his creative ideas, and I can help him with that. So you have a unique kind of focus, energy, and vibration. And sometimes it gets clouded just by, again, the concepts that we've been taught that came from somebody else and don't really serve us. That's where that stuckness really comes from. Okay, so discover your spiritual thrust. Most of you probably don't know what it is right now, so that's going to give you so much clarity. That third step is to find your niche in life. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is where you fit. So once you know what that unique spiritual thrust or vibration is, then you start going, okay, since I'm really, good at this thing, this is my spiritual energy, where's a good fit for that? Would it be working with people? Would it be creating artwork? Would it be, so you can start to see what is a match for your purpose. And we call this the niche formula. The niche formula is Profession plus avocation equals niche. So your profession, what we're actually talking about there is that spiritual part, what you're innately talented at. And some of this natural ability has come from past lives, right? That what you came in with for this lifetime. Then your avocation is all the roles that you play, the job that you show up to each day, the career, the business, even the hobbies or opportunities. Those are all the avocations. And that is in the material world. And all of that is just a means to an end to fulfill your purpose. It's not an end in itself. Those opportunities could change over time. You could move on. You want to progress. You want to change. Maybe the opportunity disappears, right? Like maybe the company that you work for goes under and you no longer have a job. And so if you were so attached to that material opportunity being your purpose, that could really throw you off your pivot point. But you start to realize that all those things are just a means to an end. And that the spiritual purpose is constant. That is constant throughout your life. You're just going to be putting it in different places and doing different things with it. Okay. So when you find that match between the profession and the avocation, that's when this flow of energy starts happening. When you're in your niche, it's that feeling of, I can't wait to get up in the morning. And that's how I've been feeling about my business lately. I got back in my niche after needing to make some changes. And I'm like, I'm excited. I can't wait to, do the next project. I love Mondays because I love what I'm doing, right? And so it's this natural motivation. Nobody has to, kick you in the pants to get you motivated. It's there. And you feel happy and you feel fulfilled. And you are naturally growing and expanding spiritually from your opportunities. But I want to kind of emphasize that it actually does create a flow of energy that fuels you and it's expanded. And so your aura will be stronger as well. So this is probably what most of you have been seeking. You are calling it purpose, but you're really needing to find your niche right now. So in the Life Purpose Mastery course, I have a whole module, and I'll also be doing a live call on it to really guide you in this process, because people don't talk about it this way. So it can take a little while to get your head around this niche formula stuff, but it's going to help you to approach things so differently. I remember a client from a few years ago was really struggling with finding her niche, and she wanted to help people spiritually, but she was training in every different modality under the sun. So at one point, she became a certified tarot reader. She's like, great, tarot reading is my purpose. And then after doing that for a while, it was like, I'm not feeling fulfilled. And so maybe that's not it. Maybe now I'm going to be a Reiki healer. And she got certified in that. And she, after a while, that didn't fit, right? And so it's because she was missing the real essence of her purpose, that spiritual part, and she was on a hamster wheel of trying to find the right thing that finally would make her happy. Nothing out there is going to make you happy. What's going to make you happy is getting in alignment with your spiritual thrust. So that's a big shift that I can mentor you with. Okay. Step 4. Follow your heart's desires. Okay, so this is such an important part of your thrust. And again, I think this is a big area of challenge. It's a blind spot for a lot of people. Just for a sec. What is it that you really want? What is it that you would truly desire to be, do, have in your life? I know for me, and some of you may relate to this, some of you may not. But when I first learned this concept a while back, that when I follow my real true desires and when I have what I want in my life, that is the stepping stone to my life purpose, I was so shocked, because for me, it was like having what I want, that is so selfish. I had a lot of messages from my parents of, you can't have everything you want in life. Money doesn't grow on trees. Just put up with this, do it for everybody else. And so it felt so, so selfish to even write down what I wanted. And I've worked with that a lot, and I really love it now. And I've really shifted in this area to say what I want is most important, and even to be loyal to myself first, family second, and everybody else third. So there are times, even with my child, that I choose me over him. I don't do it all the time, right? It's not me first, me second, me third, me fourth. I love being a good parent, but at the end of the day, I have to live my life for me. And I know this can be, pretty shocking to some people, but the reality is, and what I came to, especially when I got divorced about 3 years ago, I really experienced this, was that when I'm loyal to myself, I'm really being the best service to everybody else. So at that time, and I'm sure some of you have been in this place, it was really hard to leave, even though I knew that that marriage was not serving me, and it was actually, becoming a negative influence in my life. In order for me to keep growing and expanding, I needed to be out of that situation. And I knew that inside, but I kind of suppressed it for a good couple of years because I didn't want to hurt the other person. And I didn't want to put my son through all of that change and turmoil and etc. And so I was putting them before me. And I came to the place of saying, you know what, when I do this for me, it's going to be better for my spouse too, because he needs to move on with his life. If this contract between us is ended, it's going to be better for him to move on to. And he didn't like it at first, believe me, he tried to resist it very hard. And I also came to the realization that it was going to be best for my child too, because he chose us to be his parents. And so obviously he chose this situation for his growth. So that's a very specific example, but I think it's really important to realize that you always are going to be best when you are following your true heart's desires. And I don't think anybody here is going to, there's something to be said for respect, of course, and respecting other people's boundaries and, not being controlling, all of that kind of goes without saying. We're not going to go there with it. But for most of you, you need to be more loyal to yourself. You tend to leave yourself out. And that's another thing that gets people feeling really stuck. So if you want to get that roadmap to your purpose, the steps that you need to take, get clarity on that, start with what is it I really want, and not what you think you should want, not what everyone else wants, but what you really, really want. And a lot of people who are feeling stuck have denied that they think they don't know what they want, or they're really limiting it from a limiting belief. So I could talk much longer about this. Now, obviously you might not have all the roadmap right away, but that's the place to start. So if you can do that, from your little homework or home play from this class, within the next 24 hours, see if you can do that. Write down just that list of, hey, if I had no limitations, what would I really, really, really want? And just play with that. It doesn't have to come true right away. Just play with that as an exercise, and that will start opening you something. Okay. And to recognize where you've been denying, right? I can't do it because I'm too old. I can't do it because I'm too young. I can't do it because I'm a woman, a man. Like, we have all the excuses in the book. I can't do it because I've got kids. But if you have a desire, it's innate within you. A soul moves by desire. And so this is a great exercise to get back in touch with that inner vibration that we've been talking about. Okay, and obviously we're going to expand on this in the course that's coming up as well. And I'll mentor people through it, especially if you don't know what you want. That can be a really challenging thing to be going through. And I'm pretty good at helping you to identify what is that true soul's desire. Because you think you don't know what you want, you actually do. It's just that it's been suppressed in some way. Okay. All right. This is a really fun one and very fascinating area, is fulfilling your spiritual contracts. So when you get in touch with your energy and start to feel and notice what you're being pulled toward, you're attracting into your life as well, you can start to recognize spiritual contracts. So really obvious spiritual contract that we've all experienced in some way is that you have a contract with your parents, right? You chose your parents to set up for you the environment that would be conducive for your growth in this lifetime. And if you have children, you have a contract with them. Contracts can end, contracts can change, contracts can begin, right? Now, I have two younger sisters who I absolutely adore. They are just such fun, cool people. It's like my best friends. But I don't actually have a contract with them anymore. I did when I was younger, when we were growing up together, etc. But right now, I still have a relationship with them, but I don't really have a contract. So what this means is that there's not really growth that we have together. There's not a project that we're here to work on together or something spiritually that we have to learn from each other. There's definitely an affinity with them. I love them. I love hanging out with them. But when we spend time together, it's really just for the fun of it. It's not a contract in the sense of it's a really important relationship for my growth. So that's an interesting thing to recognize. Is like, okay, is there people in your life where they're there and you have fun with them, but there's not really a contract? Sometimes after a while, that can sort of feel a little bit draining. And that's how it is with my sisters. I love them to death, but after a while, if I spend a week or two with them, and I haven't been able to lately because of COVID travel restrictions, so that's really sad. But if I spend a week or two with them, I start to get antsy after a while and go, okay, I want to go do something. I want to get back to my business or something like that, So when you have contracts can be relationships with people. It can also be with people that you have something to share with, who might end up being your clients, or what we call apprentices, people that come into your life because you need to teach them something. You can also have a contract with someone that you need to learn something from. Now, in a close, intimate relationship, maybe your romantic partner or a really close friend, usually there's a mutual contract, right? There's a reason why that person is in your life. And contracts can change, and that can be disconcerting. I have a very close friend who I've known for many, many years, and we, for the last 3 years or so, have been doing work together. We've been running classes and retreats together. And in the last month or two, that contract ended. She made the decision to not be a part of that business anymore. And I'm still her friend. It's not like we're not friends anymore, but when we had that business partnership going, we were, obviously talking a lot more often, and we were working together and we were connecting together. And that part of the contract is over now. And I'm at peace with that. But at first it felt, uncomfortable. So sometimes we can hold on to things from the past, contracts that have actually ended, right? And that doesn't serve you. You're here to learn and grow and expand. Now, you can also have contracts with opportunities, right? I have a contract with the Waisawas College. Even after these so many years, I feel pulled to be involved in it. I go to the retreats, I show up, I get the certifications and the training because I feel that there's a contract for me to share that work. Okay, so you might have a contract with your job, with your company, with your own business, etc. And again, sometimes those contracts can change and it feels end, right? And it feels disconcerting when it does, because there's a natural fueling of energy when you have a contract. And when that energy goes away, it starts to feel flat. It's like, oh, what happened? What did I do wrong? You probably didn't do anything wrong, right? It's just that you've learned everything that you could from that situation. So for some of you here, the stuck feelings could be that you're holding on to a contract that does no longer serving you, whether it be a person or an opportunity, right? We have a contract with our spiritual helpers as well, and that contract will last through this lifetime. So let me know. Let's just take a break for a second and just let me know what's resonating with you so far here. What are you learning? Because I'm doing a lot of talking. Any comments, any questions? I see there's about 20 people here. So let me know what's standing out to you from these 5 steps so far. It was raise your vibration, learn your spiritual thrust, find your niche in life, get in touch with your heart's desires, and fulfill your spiritual contracts. Is there anything that was a new concept for you? They're all pondering, I guess. Oh, thank you, Marilyn. Everything sounds good. I appreciate that. Getting some clarity. Have more questions? I don't know. What are the signs a contract needs to be ended by you? Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm going to come back to it. I've got 2 more steps to cover, and then I will answer questions. But if you have questions, just go ahead and post them in now while you have them. I just know that that's not a quick question, so I'm going to come back to it. That's a really good one. Okay. All right, we'll keep letting me know how things are going. Oh, there we go. It's got a couple more people. Oh, love that. I always appreciate your sincerity, wisdom, and how you share it with the world. I loved the be loyal to yourself part. It resonated highly with me. Yes, Nancy, I'm going to start share a recording tomorrow morning. You'll get that. Okay, guys, well, let's share these other 2 steps. But like I said, feel free to keep putting questions and comments in there. Oh, I see a couple in the Q&A too. Yeah, I don't know how to end contracts. Yeah, I will come back to that one too. Yeah, the contracts is just such an interesting and helpful thing to be aware of, right? That helped me, obviously, when I ended my marriage. I asked my angels, is there still a contract? And when I got no, I was a bit stunned at the time. But it was very, very helpful to have that clarity, you know. And I then, you know, just worked with that. I didn't make a change overnight, but I worked with that information that I got from my guidance. Changed my life completely now. Okay, so step 6, set clear direction and goals. Okay, so, you know, for many of you, maybe you are goal-oriented already. For some of you, maybe you find this very challenging. But I'm not just talking about goals in the sense of striving for something, sort of that overly masculine energy. I even still have a little bit of resistance around that word goals, because I've associated it with sort of somebody pushing me to something, right? But when you set clear direction and goals based on your true heart's desire and that spiritual thrust and the things that feel really fun and fulfilling for you, there's not going to be pressure around goals. You're actually going to be excited by them. Now, there's protection and direction. So as a soul, your energy will be very streamlined and directed when you have something to work toward. And that really is an important part of your learning and growing, right? We're all here to learn and grow. So when you don't set any direction for yourself, you just kind of keep going through the motions and let life happen to you. That's another reason why you start to get off track with your purpose, because you're not getting the insights and the awareness of, you know, how to keep progressing. And there's such a fulfillment in soul level growth, even if it can be challenging at times. And sometimes it is, right? When you're doing the healing of fears that feel very real, it can be confronting, but my goodness, it is so worth it. So setting that clear direction gives you that roadmap. It gives you that pivot point. And I'm going to teach you how to do that from a fun and fulfilling and vibrant place, so that it's just targets that you're moving toward with that purpose, whether it be spiritually or materially. And step 7 is follow your life purpose direction with inspired actions. So once you have those desires, once you've set, your direction and goals based on those desires and purpose, then you're going to keep taking the inspired actions to move toward it. And this is not any old action, it's the inspired actions. It's the things that are guided by your intuition and by your angels that are good steps for you. So I don't know why this example just popped in my mind, but post-divorce now, I am in a new relationship that is very fun and fulfilling. And I could really feel that was an important part of my growth a couple of years ago, was to be in a more positive relationship, because the marriage was not positive at the end. And that was I just felt really drawn to having that experience, and that there was almost a need for me. And so, but the point of my story here is that I really just followed my intuition and my guidance to be in the right place to meet this person. It was actually an online dating app, but it was just this totally random hunch one day. And I kept hearing people talking about this particular dating app all of a sudden. And I got the hunch, oh, you need to be there. I was like, okay. And I met him just a couple of weeks later. The other funny thing that happened with that was, when I was finding a place to live in this new city, I was very guided by my angels to be on the south side of the city, where my original plan was to be on the complete other side of town. And my partner now lives very close by here, and he has for quite some time. So my angels were guiding me to be in this environment. So that's the magic that starts happening when you know how to get in touch with the intuition, the guidance, and you can really trust it and take action on those inspirations when they come. And they will only come when the timing is right. And that can be the tough part sometimes. You're like, I want it now. But you just stay relaxed, you stay at peace, you keep trusting. And just keep practicing developing that part of yourself and getting out of your head. Your mind is there to organize you, not to come up with the ideas and inspirations. And that's where most people are getting way in overthinking, right? So those are the 7 steps, you guys. So I have a question for you at this point. How would life change for you if you were aligned with your life purpose and living it with joy and abundance? If you were really able to implement all of these 7 steps that I've shared with you, what would that be like? Just if you know how to cleanse, do that. If you don't know how to cleanse, just take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes, and really just tune into this. Maybe your angels will give you some insights. Maybe it's just going to be your own mind coming up with ideas, and that's perfectly fine and valid. But get a feeling for this, maybe a picture if it comes through, maybe a word if it comes through. I'm going to read the question one more time, and I'm just going to give you a minute to just tune into this for yourself, and I'll be quiet for a minute. How would life change for you if you were aligned with your life purpose and living it with joy and abundance? All right, start coming on back. Open your eyes. Let me know, what did you experience in that brief meditation? So Nancy said, I would be at peace. Paula, feeling at peace and less anxious. Yes. S, I would have more passion and energy. Marilyn, I would feel more alive, like I'm living and not just surviving or stagnant. Beautiful. Paula, yes, I would feel thriving instead of surviving. Lisa, life would be effortless but fulfilling. Marianne, I would have a job I loved, romantic relationship, and like-minded friends because I would be able to attract it all. Yes. Yes, that's awesome. That reminds me of like when I attracted the romantic relationship, and then I was like, I'd moved to a new city and we had COVID lockdowns, and I didn't have like good girlfriends that lived close by. And I was like, I need to manifest that now, right? And so I just set that intention. This is an important part of my purpose and my desires. And it's been amazing how quickly that has manifested as well. So yes, you can definitely learn to do all those things, and all of those things are an important part of your purpose, right? I don't want to leave you guys with the impression that I'm kind of telling you that the material side isn't important. It is, but the way to get in alignment with it is to come from within first, inner toward outer. Most of us are doing it the flip side, right? You're trying to go in the outer with leaving out the inner. So that's the shift that needs to happen. Thank you for sharing, guys. So I have an opportunity for you, if this is resonating and you would like to really start applying these steps into your life, learning what they are for you, what your spiritual thrust is, getting that roadmap to your purpose, then I invite you to join me. Oh, I'd love to give you the roadmap. I'd love to invite you to join me with this upcoming course. It's called Life Purpose Mastery. And it's a step-by-step roadmap to discover and live your unique life purpose. So it is an online course, and it has a few different components to it. You will get videos and worksheets that you can go through in your own time, which I always love as a parent, because, I can put my son to bed at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night and have an hour or two to do online courses, right? I can work it into my schedule. You also get a private session, a one-on-one hour-long session, and you will get some other bonuses what I'm going to talk about in a minute. So you'll learn, first of all, what your spiritual thrust is, which is the expression of your unique vibration in this lifetime, your inner gifts, qualities, and talents that you're here to share. So that's what you learn in the private session. You're going to meet with a spiritual consultant, either myself or one of my colleagues, on Zoom for an hour, and we're going to, first of all, tell you what that statement is, and then see how you can implement it into your life. So I was referring earlier to a client I worked with today. That was the session that I took her through. She's actually just enrolled in Life Purpose Mastery. So that's the first step to getting that clarity, and the one that most people are missing. So it's going to be so fun to really connect with each other in this group, and all of us know what our spiritual thrust is, and start working with it and applying it into your life. So you're going to learn how to find the place where you fit, your niche in life. Okay, and that's that place that probably you're seeking, the fulfillment, the growth, the fun of life that somehow has escaped you. You're going to get back in alignment with that. So instead of, I love this picture, right? Instead of feeling like the square peg in a round hole, you're going to be the round hole. You're going to fit right through that hole. So you're going to find the opportunities that match your spiritual purpose, so you have that satisfaction and fulfillment. So for many of you, career is going to be important, right? That you just don't like your job right now. And it doesn't mean you have to quit tomorrow, but we're going to start getting you back into alignment so you can see the opportunities that are a match for you instead, right? None of this has to be a rushing thing, but you will actually be amazed by the end of the 6 weeks that we work together. You're going to have a lot of clarity really in a short space of time. that you can then start really implementing into your life. For some of you, the dissatisfaction might be in the area of relationships, right? So you get back into your niche there too. So you will uncover your true heart's desires. If you're really struggling with this right now, you're going to get back in touch with that innate soul desire. That's what pulls you forward to what you're here to do. And this provides you with the direction to fulfill your purpose and some manifesting magic to experience more fun and abundance in life. So I love the comment that was at the end there about, finding that romantic relationship that's going to add fun and abundance to your life, right? Whatever it is for you. One of the things I realized about myself, 4 or 5 years ago was I wasn't allowing myself to spend money on myself, to be frank, right? I would rarely buy clothes. I was very frugal with things, and I'm still a budgeter. That's important, but I now budget money just to, spend money on myself for things that bring me joy, right? I'm doing dance classes right now. I've bought really fun clothes that make me feel good. Earrings, I love earrings, and I wasn't even wearing them for a while. So that's another thing. It can be the big desires, but it can be the little ones too. All of that is going to just really allow you to receive abundance and, have that fun and fulfillment in your life. Okay. Now, this is something I've kind of referred to throughout, but it's really important as well. It wasn't one of the steps, but it's sort of the undercurrent of all of the steps in a way, is that you're going to overcome the fears and blocks that are causing resistance. So you can embrace your purpose with success. Sometimes it's just one sneaky little belief that has been blocking you and you didn't even realize you had it. And that's why they call them blind spots, because we're blind to them, right? So for some of you, maybe a blind spot could be that loyalty to self. You feel selfish doing things for you. So I'm going to, again, mentor you through uncovering that and really replacing the limiting beliefs with something that's more positive. We have, just all these beliefs drummed into us from family and society that we don't question. And some of them aren't serving you. So just slowly but surely, you can replace them. When you have that inner healing, you can then act differently in the world and receive more from the universe in whatever form that is for you. And finally, you're going to create the life purpose action plan that you've been seeking. That lights you up, brings fun and fulfillment, and gives you a clear step-by-step roadmap to your next steps in life. I've actually created a process where you have this, you see a little picture of it there, the purpose-inspired life planner, which is really fun. I keep trying to change these slides and they don't want to respond. Okay, so the Life Purpose Mastery course, it's an online program, but there are also some different components to it. So you receive 7 online course modules with videos and worksheets released to you weekly. It's newly updated. I updated it late last year. So there's some really amazing value in there. A 60-minute private session to discover your spiritual thrust, a members-only Facebook group, and lifetime access to this course. Plus, by enrolling at this time before September 30th, which I think is a week from today, could be wrong. Yeah, I think I'm right. If you sign up by September 30th, and that's when actually registration is going to close on this round, is that you will get 4 live group mentoring calls with me. So all of the group and even past students as well, because that's another bonus that you get. You can hop on the calls ongoing. We'll hop on Zoom together and we'll really connect. And this is my favorite part of the program. I think for a lot of my students, this is their favorite part as well, because you really actually learn a lot from all the other people in the program. You will learn from their examples, their sharings. We will have experiential techniques on that call that's difficult to do by yourself. And that really enhances your experience of the program. Plus, this is where I will mentor you. I will, give people intuitive coaching to really guide them on those things that they're blocked in, right? If you're really struggling with that career path, I'm going to give you some guidance on that. If you're really struggling to know what you want, you just don't have a clue, then I'm going to mentor you through that process. So the 4 calls will be on these themes. Number 1, your unique spiritual purpose. Number 2, finding your niche. Number 3, discovering your heart's desire. And number 4, that step-by-step roadmap to your purpose. So you're going to leave this program with the roadmap. Now, these topics are covered in the video course as well. But obviously, when you're going through the video, you might have a question, or you might want to apply it to your personal situation. And that's the amazing value of these bonus calls that we'll have. And they will all be recorded that you can utilize later. So if you add up the value of everything that's included, it's at least $1,600, but your investment is only going to be $497. And you also, oh, and I forgot, there's actually another bonus. So in November, I'm going to be doing a 1-day online workshop called Manifesting Secrets, where I guide you through my manifesting formula that has worked in my life. Most recently, attracting that amazing, wonderful romantic relationship. And it is going to be $500. I'm not just putting that there to be cool. I'm going to sell tickets for $500. So a bonus that if you enroll today, Thursday, September 23rd, you will get a free ticket to that class as another bonus, as a thank you for making a quick decision today. So you need to just sign up in the next couple of hours and you will also receive that bonus. So there is a payment plan available. And so you would just start with an initial payment of $167, and then you would be billed monthly those following 2 payments of $167. This is US dollars. The enrollment page is communicatewithangels.com/LPM. So I'm just going to show you the enrollment process here. Oh, and there is a guarantee. So if you decide within the first 10 days that this program isn't resonating with you, then you can request a refund. The only caveat to that is that if you did get that 60-minute private session in the first 10 days, that $150 value is not going to be refunded. I don't refund my time. That's just a personal policy that I have, but other than that, you can get a refund. So again, the enrollment page is communicatewithangels.com/LPM. That's what the page looks like. You just simply choose the payment option that works best for you, the full pay or the 3 payment option. Click that button and it's going to take you to this checkout page. Fill in your details there, make your payment, and you will see a confirmation page to let you know that everything went through correctly. And then you will check your email. You're going to get 2 emails automatically. One is an email from me that gives you all the information on how to get on the Facebook group, the details of our first group call together, how you schedule your private session. Lots of information in there to get you started. The second email is going to be directly from Kajabi, which is the service I use to host the course. And it will generate a unique username and password for you. So you're going to take that username and password and you're going to go and log in to the course. So that's what this will look like when you're logging in. And you will get, this is what that screen will look like when you've signed in to the course, Life Purpose Mastery. Immediately, you're going to get access to a welcome module and module 1. And the following modules will be released weekly as we go through the course together. But you can, as soon as you sign up, you can get started watching the videos and working with the material. So here it is again, the information page on how to get started. I'll go ahead and post the link in the chat here as well. And let's see, so we're 10 minutes over. So thank you for staying here on to the end. I'm happy to stay on as long as you guys have some other questions that you would like me to answer. If you have questions about the course or anything else that we've covered today? So there's the link. There was another couple questions I know I skipped over, so let me start with those. And please type into the chat or Q&A box there any other questions that you have. Okay, so Lisa said, I don't know how to end contracts. So, oh, you're welcome, Ron, and you're welcome, Nancy. Thank you guys for attending. Yes, so one thing I know about Lisa, yeah, I can still see you're still here, is you know how to communicate with your angels because you went through my Communicate with Your Angels course. So that for me is really the only way that I know to get clarity about my contracts. I don't know if I'll be able to do that without my angels in the future, but right now I feel like I'm too close to it. I need the bigger picture guidance. So I simply just phrase a very specific question. And even with my boyfriend now, like we have a very positive relationship, but maybe it's the, you know, the after effects of going through a divorce. I'm always just kind of checking in periodically. Is there still a contract? And I've always gotten yes, and that's reassuring, right? But I was dating some other people before him, and I got no, there's not a contract at one point with somebody I'd only known a couple of weeks. I was like, oh, okay, that contract ended fast, but I still felt attached to that person. But yet my angels were saying, no, there's no longer a contract. So I really just put trust and faith in that bigger picture guidance I was getting from my angels to say, okay, I'm not going to contact this person anymore. And it's challenging when you feel emotionally attached to somebody, but I could tell that my angels saying that's not in your best interest to be around that person. So yeah. And the other clue when a contract ends is you sort of feel like unmotivated in a way. It's hard to put it into words. It was interesting with my friend Sandra that I was telling about, where we were doing retreats together. And what that contract has changed, right? We're still friends, but the contract changed. The contract that ended in the business aspect of what we were doing together, because we had a whole company, right? And when it started to change, or that part of the contract ending, we were really struggling to even schedule a meeting to talk about what work we needed to do. Like we just couldn't coordinate schedules, and we weren't just even really communicating with it. We were busy with other things. There wasn't that fueling energy to keep that business contract going. And so after a while, you're like, okay, there's something is happening here. Sometimes circumstances will reveal it to you, but that was just my experience. There can be so many different experiences. Yes. Oh, yes. Lisa said, looking forward to starting my other course with you next week. I am too. I can't wait to connect with you. Okay, let's see if there was, I think, okay, Paula, I see you have a question there. I will answer that in a second. I just want to go back to the other one I skipped over. I think it might have even been the same question, right, about ending contracts. I know I missed one. Oh yeah, it was. What are the signs a contract needs to be ended by you? Yeah, I know why you guys are asking that, because it's such a challenging thing, because you don't want to hurt yourself or the other person. So that's why I just say, learn how to communicate with your angels. And right now, if that's something you really want to learn and need to learn, check out my website for the Angels Direct Connect consultation. And that's where you're going to learn that. Okay, so let's see here. Paula, I experienced a spiritual awakening about a year ago, and I've been able to communicate with my guardian angel and spirit guides. Cool. For a while, I have felt that I don't feel fulfilled in my job, and I've been asking advice from my angels. Yes, I received a message that really put my mind at ease. This led me to have a discussion with my boss. Prior to this, however, when I was getting to work, I really struggled to get taxi. Soon after arriving to work, my angel necklace broke. I felt really confused when my angel's trying to say, don't do this. I don't think so. So we need to be able to really, and this comes with practice, we really need to be able to discern what is a true message from angels and what's not. If you're having experiences that feel like resistance, it feels like a real struggle, like what, this should not be so difficult. I think this is my kind of intuitive hit for you, Paula. That day, right, where you were going to go have the discussion with your boss. There was probably some subconscious resistance going on within you that causes the energy to kind of get a little frantic. And that's why those things happen. Sometimes it's the pressure around us that doesn't want things to change. And you actually need, sometimes when things feel really challenging like that, it's actually a sign that you really do need to do it, like even more, be convicted about it. Because when we're about to change, sometimes the SHIT can hit the fan, and it's not a sign to stop, right? So, and I just noticed there, you said, I still feel I did the right thing. So yeah, definitely confirming that for you. Right, but trust the messages when they're direct messages. The angel necklace broke. Yeah, is that really a message from your angels though? I don't think it is. It's probably just your energy feeling some resistance about it, which would be perfectly understandable. So let me know if that helps, Paula. Okay. Ken says, thank you so much. You're very welcome. Manuela, I heard from my angels, leave them, but I did not trust them. You did interesting. You did a reading for me and told me that my angels were saying my relationship is toxic. I felt it was true, but then it became better. But yesterday we broke up. I feel much better, except all the nasty part is not resolved, but at least I know it is ended. Angels were right. Yeah. It's like sometimes we get that message from our angels and something that's really challenging. We have free will, right? We don't always have to do what our angels say. We could always have choice. But the thing is, they have a bigger picture, so they can guide us to something that might be more in alignment. And so even sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I am going to stay in this relationship. And it's like, you thought maybe that wasn't the accurate message, but they're sort of consistently having that bigger picture point of view. Yeah. Again, it reminds me of that early dating phase I was in when I really liked somebody, but it kind of became obvious that he did not feel the same way about me that I felt about him. And this is almost a little bit embarrassing, but I'll share it anyway. Like every day I was going, is it in my best interest to send him a text message today? And I got no. And after I'd gotten no every day for 2 weeks, I was like, okay, now I'm over it. Now I can let it go. But I had to keep checking in with my angels because I was so emotional about it. So I'm so glad that you feel better, Manuela. That's beautiful. And yes, it's challenging, but I think that you know deep down inside that you will be better as a result, right? Yeah. Nancy, when will you have your angels course again? Yes, good question, because it's actually not available on my site at this moment. I will be opening up enrollment in that again probably December, if not before. Okay, so in the meantime, though, you can do the private session, which is the Angels Direct Connect. And then you could upgrade to the course because the private session is included in that course, if that makes sense. So look on my website for Angels Direct Connect. That's a great way that you can get started right away. Okay, Paula. Good. I'm glad it resonated. And I'm glad it was a great experience. Do private sessions if you can't commit to the 6-week course? Yes, I do. I can put together a package of private sessions with you on the similar material that we talked about today. So just send me an email, melissa@communicatewithangels.com. All right, guys, if you have any other questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to hop off. And I'm going to go see my boyfriend who's going to cook me dinner. So yay. All right. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Much love. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Marianne. Mwah. So hope this has resonated with you. I would love to invite you to Life Purpose Mastery. I hope that many of you will enroll. Remember, you get that bonus workshop on manifesting if you sign up today within the next couple of hours. So if you have questions, my email is melissa@communicatewithangels.com. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Melanie. Much love to you all, and I hope that we can connect again really soon. Bye, everybody.